And that brings me to the last section that I want to highlight. Like we've been talking a lot about surviving, and then moving a little bit already to this area, the thriving part, thriving post-COVID. I mean, at some point in time, hopefully it will go. Likely the world has changed then, and some things will stay, and some things will be completely different for the rest of our life, possibly. So thriving post-COVID. I mean, I'm really interested in your strategies there. But to start off, Timothy, what has been for you or for the company that you represent? What has been the biggest aha moment during this crisis?
Yeah, I mean that's that's a very interesting question, because I think there've been a couple for us. I mean, I think the one that I touched on earlier was that you know, there are other ways to sell. You know, as a management team, we'd always sort of believe that we have to be on the farm to win, and you know, now we're starting to see that maybe that's not true, and really starting to relook at, like, where, you know, how can we be smarter about how we use our resources and those things. And then I think the second one, you know, for us has just been that, you know, in our business, it's always been challenging to, I suppose, to implement new technology with specifically farmers, you know, and growers. They kind of have always done things the same way for a long time, and bringing in new technology is always a challenge. But what we have seen during this period is people very open to new ideas and open to different ways of thinking. I mean, you know, we have operations in 10, you know, active operations in 10 countries around the world, and pretty much everywhere it's been the same scenario. We've seen accelerated adoption of our products, accelerated implementation, because people are looking to use technology. So, you know, in times of crisis, people actually do turn to technology to try and get through it, and they're more active in terms of using it. So I mean, we're looking forward to obviously the crisis being over, because you know, things can hopefully get back to normal. But in our minds, it's very much a new normal. You know, this idea of remote selling, still being able to create a trusted advisor environment, and secondly, you know, this idea that technology will be implemented faster.
True, good points. What about you, Len? What has been the biggest aha moment for you or for the company RLDatix?
Yeah, so you know, I want to echo the sentiments that we just heard. Continued intensification of technology, especially on our marketing sales engine as a much larger team now. You know, we've been working with SalesChoice to in a proof of concept for the AI capabilities, and you know, what we like about these capabilities that we can really you know, find needles in the haystack, if you will, right? As an analogy, and it's been, you know, a really compelling proof of concept for us, especially as we try to expand the verticals within healthcare, and also manage a much larger sales team. So as a company in itself, yeah, again, the continuous evolution of adding value through technology, which is our core competence, obviously, is essential. But embedding AI in our tools is of essence. And I agree that if you're not in AI moving forward, you're not going to survive. So I mean, just as an example, we depend on nurses or physicians to report incidents. So a medication error or a lab issue gone wrong or surgery gone wrong, but our infection surveillance system is all real-time surveillance, right? To filter on and do penetration of contact tracing for patients, so the infections don't spread. You know, all the solutions in healthcare need to be at that level, and the AI is going to be essential.
Yeah, Good point there. Tells us something again about how important technology is going to be in this next phase. Another question that I'm curious to hear your views about, for example, Olin. What did you learn in this new phase about mindset as a CEO, but also as a mindset of the people in your company?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's a lot of uncertainty, and people deal with uncertainty in very different ways. Let's talk about customers, because I think Cindy hit upon a really important point, and that is I believe, and our company believes, the highest use of AI is to actually enable people to do what they couldn't do otherwise. It's more of a collaboration tool between the human and the machine than it is the machine telling you what to do. It's giving you insights and giving you a way of doing your job better. I think that we're seeing a bifurcation, a separation between the curious that want to try new things and the stubborn who want to hold on to the past. And you know, the challenge for us is how to be true to our own values and do the best thing that we can do for the customer. And a lot of times, some of those customers just don't want to change. And we lost some customers that didn't want to change the way they were doing things, and we got some new customers that were very interested, and I would describe them as being very curious. Regarding our internal team, you know, people deal with uncertainty in different ways. We've made a policy that no one needs to return to the office unless they feel safe and comfortable. We have a return to work plan, but we're not going to push people into that plan because in our area, we are based in San Diego, California. It's very unclear when the schools are going to reopen. A lot of people don't have access to childcare because the childcare systems have been shut down. My wife and I are both working from our home, and we are guardians of our nieces and nephews. And I can tell you that it's changed a lot of people's personal lives. And to the point, I think I'm giving Cindy a lot of credit here. She pointed out how people are more reflective now. And I think that it's really important to now more than ever to read the temperature of the room. In other words, understand your audience and where they are in this time of uncertainty so that we can communicate more effectively with them and enable them to take the right journey for where they are and where they need to go.
Very good point. Yeah, I mean, one question that sort of comes from here, Cindy, to you in this case. So based on the aha moments, the mindset that you've seen changing, where do you put strategic priority? So what are your bets?
Oh, okay. Just going to kind of free flow on this point. I think first point is each customer counts, and you need to create memorable, sustaining moments. And that's not going to come from what you do. It's going to be thinking beyond. So that's asking about their health, asking about their family balance. When you've got, you know, your top accounts, at least because we're still emerging, they're all friends. And that nurturing, I think we know from, and history shows that communities hold up businesses. Businesses don't hold up themselves. And I think that kind of brings back this compassion concept, think, and incredible positivity. I don't think there's any more excuses not to be healthy. So to me, the team needs to be healthy. They need to be strong. They need to feel that they can take a break when they need to. I mean, if you are in a condo, right? We've got engineers, right? Or they're, you know, 3 engineers in a house. They need to know that we care about their health. You know, I just had an email come in from one of our engineers saying his grandmother just passed away, right? And we all know COVID's impacting people in retirement homes, although, you know, they brought her home, you know, as COVID was hitting, but she did just pass away. And he said, I can't come to the meeting today. I'm sorry. Tomorrow, I'll try and go to work. And I just sent back a message 2 seconds ago saying, take today off, take tomorrow off, take all the time you need off, grieve. And so I think I think Olin, you use the word compassion. I honestly think that's our strategic priority right now, because everybody's at a different cycle and coming at COVID. So it's like you almost have to think, where is this industry in relationship to COVID? Where is this industry or this customer? And, that reflection and deeper thinking. And we do have a bit more time, but at the same time, we do need to have the speed. So it may be that, if you're selling into the US, and you may not want to sell to New York, LA and California have been very thoughtful, right? So you really need to think about your coverage as well. So, I still think we're working through it, everyone, in terms of our bets, but it's making sure our current customers are strong, and obviously that strong cultural fit. One of the new aspects we're still testing out in AI, but I think it's an interesting one, because you can do everything that we've talked about here, but you might still not have the right person with the right values and the communication patterns to communicate to that particular profile. So AI can actually make sure that you've got a buyer and a seller fit. And that to me is very, very interesting, because I know for me, you probably can pick up, I'm a high expressive. I like to tell stories, but I'm a deep thinker, so I'm a bit of a right and left brain. But do I ever get bored quickly myself if someone cannot tell a story? So, so I think, going to your point, your bets is you got to find the right customers, cut to the chase, and not lose sight of that compassion. And it's deeper, and it's got to be authentic. People, are uncannily perceptive. And there was some just recent research I was reading on AI that in terms of, will robots be as creative and curious as humans are? And it's a long ways off, because what we can do as humans, if I see your eyes, and I know there's technology that's trying to classify, but often eyes are the most insightful aspect to our souls. So I'll just pause on that point.
Yeah, you made a perfect bridge to, almost the finalizing word for this online event that we're holding today. Yeah, beautiful thoughts here, and absolutely key ingredients to be remarkable in the next phase. The key takeaways, call to action. What I found myself, but possibly you can chip in on this. Like, what is a key takeaway that you took from this call? I'll start. For me, what I've heard you talking about is that having the right customers is key. Being there for your customers, have helpful conversations, not about yourself, but about helping them and solving their problems is going to be even more important going forward than maybe it was in the past. And that will help companies to stand out. Anything from your end, Olin? A key takeaway or and a call to action?
Yeah, I look at it a little differently. I would say, am I the right vendor for a customer rather than are they the right customer for me? Because that's a way I can. It just helps me learn more about my company, what we're doing, and how we fit into an organization. We're still a startup. We're still growing. We're still at that stage of learning. So I think what I've learned out of this is I think it's really remarkable that we got people from all over, leaders from all over the world. And what I'm hearing is happening in South Africa certainly resonates with what's happening here.
Yeah. Anything from your end, Timothy? What is your key takeaway and a call to action that you say, hey, this is what I'm going to do next?
Yeah, I think for us the key takeaway, everybody's initially been very concerned about the virus and how it's going to impact business. And for us, it's actually been a time of reflection and an opportunity to look at our business and really decide how we want to move forward, and try out some new strategies. So I think for us, these have been like sort of key takeaways and things that we continue to look at, is almost using this as an opportunity to double down on things that we can control and reflect on things that we can't, I suppose.
Yeah, very good point. Anything from your end, Len, as a final one?
Yeah, thank you. I'm a firm believer that of the famous Fleming quote, Deming quote, culture eats strategy for breakfast. This is a time where it's a tremendous calling for leadership to ensure that if they don't embed the right culture during difficult times like this, to come out of it stronger. And the focus is not on ensuring that we support and show compassion for our staff and our customers. Many companies that don't take a really good culture approach, I believe, will not survive. So great discussion, good learnings for me today. Thank you so much.
Well, it was a pleasure. I mean, knowing that we are on top of the hour, I want to make a quick plug for the webinar that is actually continuing on the same story next week. Next week, it's going to be more focused around creating momentum. It's all about momentum, this the show is called. We have guests, again, remarkable leaders there. Mark Organ, founder and chairman of a company called Influitive, and also the founder of Eloqua. Maybe some people in the audience that know that company from the past. Of course, Cindy is going to be a part of the story again. Then we have another guest from the UK, Sachin Devdugal, who's the CEO and co-founder of a company called Builder, helping people realize ideas and thereby getting away from the very difficult process of developing software, making this as easy as ordering a pizza, as he calls it. And last but not least, Roland Hallebeek, who's the CEO and co-founder of a company called Scotty Technologies from the Netherlands, who is really helping organizations to scale the very important channel that they have inside the business or incoming, which is a whole channel of voice coming in and dealing with that. So if you haven't subscribed for that, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time on week. And I want to hand over now to Malay after thanking you for being online today and being part of this conversation.
Thank you, Tone, and absolutely fantastic discussion today. So thank you to our panelists, Len, Olin, Cindy, Timothy, and Tone for facilitating this engaging discussion. I would like to sign off by sending out an invite virtually to everyone to our Predictive AI World Forum, which is a place, a pretty fantastic platform for you to find a lot of resources, webinars, podcasts, white papers, blogs in the domain of AI and sales and how you can grow leveraging technology, particularly in this climate. You're invited to check it all out at saleschoice.com/resources. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, CATA, the Canadian Advanced Technology Alliance, IT World Canada, the Bedford Consulting Group /Transearch, and of course, Value Inspiration and Ton himself. You can contact either of us at email addresses that you'll be receiving in an email shortly after this webinar. So look out for that. It will also carry a link to the registration for our next week's webinar. So thank you once again. Thank you everyone for joining here, our audience, our panelists, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a great day.